Hello, welcome to the first episode of the Mega Campaign. I'll be playing EU4, Victoria 3 and Hearts of Iron 4 in this Mega Campaign, and my goal will to basically create a very powerful Britain that does not need to rely on Europe or its colonies to be a great power. I'll be skipping through my early game setup because no one really wants to watch that, and it's just a lot of basic stuff that anyone who's watched the Mega Campaign before would know. Anyone who hasn't, I'll do a video explaining my early game setup in the future. So I decided to release Gascony and Normandy as puppets, mainly so I can get my missions done. I don't really see the point. Like I said, I don't want to stay in Europe. I want to create a powerful Britain without the need of Europe. So I'm not going to spend or waste time defending Europe. I'll have battles there, like in this case, in case I need them. But on a whole, like I said, my goal is to be a powerful Britain without really needing vassals or allies. I've just got this round of main event. I'm not going to be defending my land, but I'm not going to give it them for free. Mainly because they waste a bit of manpower and a bit of money. You know, a few benefits there. But my main goal is to attack Scotland, get them as a subject, and move on from there. I do plan to skip most of this up until the peace treaties, so people can see what I end up losing. But I don't really want to show the next 20 minutes of me waiting for France to accept their French lands back. It's a bit dumb, but yeah. So my subjugation war against Scotland have just ended, and in the end I've got them as a vassal. I did lose the Isles, they had to go independent, but you know, not the end of the world. I have now got Scotland. I continue to plan the 100-Year War, just not getting involved there. I did lose a lot of manpower though, so I am slightly worried. And when the War of the Roses kick off, for anyone who doesn't know, the War of the Roses is basically when, in English history, when two sides of the same family claim the throne. You have the House of York and the House of Lancaster. I can't remember which house actually won in our timeline, our world. However, yeah, within this, I'll be siding with whoever has the best stats. In the end, it doesn't really matter too much, you know what I mean? But I'm gonna go for the Tudors, because then it allows me to get Henry the Sixth, who is a very good ruler. So the War of the Roses event just kicked off. I sided with the House of York as Henry von Frederick had a far better stat thing of 564. With that, I plan to continue my strategy in France, just leave it alone. The only issue with this is I have very low manpower, so it's going to take a lot more effort to actually try and do anything against them. But it shouldn't be too bad. Worst case, I just let them win. My guy dies, I lose more stability. However, I do think I should win in the end, so you know, hopes there. So yeah, the War of the Roses has just war is ending with my victory as the House of York. My manpower is extremely low, and it's going to take me some time to repair from that. But it's not too bad. In the end, I've got what I wanted from it. I'm going to continue down the Tudor path. I'm continuing to finally accept the peace treaty. I don't know why they don't want to accept it, but they don't want to, so I'm just going to have to keep waiting and waiting and waiting. But eventually they'll accept it. So, you know, 100-year war should end soon. Scratch that, the 100 Years' War has just ended. France has taken all their French lands finally, and I can move on to continuing to develop England into the global superpower it needs to be. So, you know, big ups there. France, they got their lands. I don't know, or I don't mind having it. It should be good for me to continue my expansion into Britain, and continue my hopeful global domination from the British Isles. So I am planning on taking, for my idea group, I'm just getting being infrastructure because it reduces development costs at max unlockment, but it also makes it cheap to construct and build stuff. Would be very useful for my type of nation, yeah. So that is my goal currently, is to hopefully max that out. I don't think... So I have started the conquest of Ireland, finally. With the conquest of Ireland, it will give me a massive power boost, hopefully, you know. But in the meantime, I've also conquered the Isles and given that to Scotland. All of Ireland will be mine. When I get the Act, I will also be keeping it under my direct control. I feel like that's the best thing I can do. It'll be the thing that gives me the most power. I'm going to try and make sure that by the time it comes to European and separatist movement start, Ireland is very deeply rooted under my control, and I don't have too many issues to worry about within that. So yeah, interesting development. Brittany and Burgundy have both beaten France. Either together or individually, I don't really know. However, it's a pretty strong Burgundy and a pretty good Brittany. We could see France not existing in this timeline, what is very interesting. Another big development is the Ottomans are in Italy. The Ottomans are in Italy. What is crazy, you know, it could lead to a drastically different Europe, but with there being the Ottomans now, it does spell a bit of a rough patch for Europe. If the Ottomans continue to rise, you know, we might see a disappearing of the Pope. Would be very worrying, but it doesn't affect us too mad, as I am planning to go through the Reformation and becoming Anglican. More on that when the Reformation hits. What might not be for a couple more, you know, years, might be pretty soon. I don't really know. So yeah, I am at war with France, a humiliation war though, mainly because it's part of my missions to humiliate one of my rivals, while also getting reparations from 3 separate nations, and I just view France as the weakest target right now. Not too powerful, just lost the war to Brittany as we shall see. Brittany, really big Brittany here. I'm pretty impressed, actually. I'm very happy with it with my allies, because it wouldn't be a fun nation to fight. But yeah, we're taking out France, getting the humiliation, getting war reparations, getting a lot of money, just in general, crippling France more than they already are. You know, France is barely a nation at this point. They don't even own most of France. Yeah. We won't be seeing a France probably in Europa unless Burgundy collapses. Not Europa, what am I on about? Vicky, unless Burgundy collapses, unless Brittany collapses, unless I don't know, Castile decides to form it, but yeah, it's not looking good for France, not at all. Me and my ally Austria here are working together to make sure they vassalize or unify even with Bohemia. I think it's a personal union goal. But when they succeed, I have left out because I'm just not involved in Europe that much. However, again, very powerful Austria. My allies are looking very good. Brittany dominating France, Austria dominating the HRE and being a really good Austria. Gascony just kind of like a big power down in France again. Scotland as a vassal, pretty good too. It's a very powerful start for the first 50 years almost. So this is it for part 1 of the mega campaign. As I said earlier in the video, it will stem from Europa Universalis 4 to Victoria 3, maybe Victoria 2, but probably Victoria 3, to Parts-Fine 4. It's been a very good first 50 years, very powerful allies in Brittany, Austria and Gascony. Very few rough patches, we almost lost the Tudor lineage, and we did get it back in the end. And it continues to develop England, we're strong there. We are a major power, I think we're 5th, no we're not. 7th rank, 8th ranks, we're not the most powerful nation yet. However, that'll just come in time, come development. I'm not conquering any more land, it should make it very easy to continue developing my land. So yeah, hopefully, by the end of this, we will, not by the end of this episode, or not episode, part, by the end of the second part, we should like 5th rank. At least that's how it's looking right now, so you know, again, pretty good going for ourselves. Anyway, whoever's enjoyed this, I hope you like, comment, and subscribe if you want. But if you don't, that's it for today. See you next time.